common slate.
Chanel Oberlin is the queen bee, and she isn't exactly the nicest person. Definitely not warm and fuzzy. She's a bitch, for lack of a better word. But it's really fun to get to play her because there's so much comedy, and I think what Ryan Murphy does best is this kind of sarcastic, dark humor. And so Chanel has a lot of that going on, which is really fun for me. Madison on Coven was one of my favorite characters, and there's kind of a lot of that humor with Chanel. I think Scream Queens it's horror, but it's also a dark comedy. And it's a lot of comedy, actually. I think that's what all of us were just talking about, how we were surprised at how funny, like laugh out loud funny the script is.
My name is Ariana Grande, and I'm playing Chanel number 2 on Scream Queens. Scream Queens is about a sorority, and there's a killer on the loose within the sorority, and each week we try and find out who that might be. I met up with Ryan Murphy, and he's awesome, and I just told him what a big fan I was of his, and he expressed that he had this new project coming up, and he was like, hey, this might interest you, you know, you're girly, and you also love really sort of like messed up horror, gothic, crazy, like weird stuff. And he told me about Scream Queens, and I was like, Chanel number 2, I think, is a good friend. I think she's a loyal friend to Chanel. She, I feel like, is the most timid of the group. I think she might be like the safest, least daring one of the group. Chanel number 2's main goal in life? I don't know. I don't know if she has goals. Just being a Chanel. I think she's just so happy being a part. And I feel like she's a good friend, you know? But it's been such a fun experience so far. Like my first day on set, all the girls were so welcoming and I was so excited. I was so nervous and so shy, but like they made me feel right at home right away. And it's been such a fun experience.
I am Billy Lord, and I'm playing Chanel number 3. Scream Queens, it's Mean Girls meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of vibes, but it's Heathers. You've gotta see Heathers. My agents called and said I had an offer. I thought it was an offer for an audition, but it was an offer to actually come in, like, read for the part and have the part. So, completely flipped out, could not stand up, had to sit down. It's my first television show and first like real thing with real lines. The cast is incredible. I love everyone so far. I've never spent this much time with this many girls. I thought it was gonna be a little scary, but everybody's so nice and hysterical. Everybody's super good looking and chill. It's wonderful. The show is about a mischievous group of ladies in a sorority that do some naughty things sometimes. It's very dry, sarcastic. I'd say more humor than comedy. Chanel number 3 is a sassy but low-key individual. She is main Chanel, Chanel Oberlin's minion, but she's like not really sure how she feels about it. She loves Chanel, but you know, there may be some growth. So we'll see what happens with Chanel number 3. I'm on episode 2, and I'm still sassy, so.
Abigail, take 1, common slate.
I play Chanel number 5. Chanel number 5 is kind of the more conservative, a little bit uptight, kind of a mean girl. She's a little bit crazy. She's really like smart and cunning and sociopathic, a little bit insane, and it's exactly what I'd hoped it would be. And she has some really things that she says in a couple of the episodes where I'm like, is it okay for me to say this? Is this allowed on television? It's Fox, it's totally, they're chill, they're chill. I've never played a mean girl before, and when I first met with Ryan Murphy for this, I said, you know, it's kind of my goal to just be evil and be a mean girl. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. It's been so exciting, and I can't believe that I'm in this show. Like, it's such a dream job for me. Chanel number 5's main goal is probably to be a news anchor. I don't think that she really wants to report like hard-hitting news. I think that she just really likes the way that she would look at the desk. I remember reading like the second episode and just being like, flipping through, and like I read it and I was like, wait, what? And I reread it like 10 times. This is the most outrageous girl. She's very, very lethal. It's scarier because she's so put together and like collected and ladylike on the outside, but no, she's not a lady.
So Scream Queens is a 1-hour horror comedy, and I don't really have a frame of reference to compare it to anything else because it's sort of its own animal. It's unlike any other show I've read or seen. We've got a little bit of the Heathers, a little bit of Mean Girls as far as the humor, but we also have like true mystery that I think draws from American Horror Story a little bit as far as like there's killers on the loose and we don't know who it is, but it constantly goes back and forth between being funny and being scary, which is why it's so new and delightful. I think Scream Queens is exactly a perfect balance of horror and comedy, which overall makes it a mystery show. I know that Ryan wanted me to audition because he said, look, you're in college, you're in a sorority, and he had asked me questions about it when I shot American Horror Story with him a year ago, and he was like, interesting. You're in a sorority. Do crazy things happen there? I thought that was just part of my first day of work. Brian Murphy is your boss, and these are the questions he asks you thing. I didn't realize that it was for some sort of greater cause. So when I came in and auditioned, they were like, perfect, just use all of your real life experience of being in college and being in a sorority. And I said, to be fair, we don't kill people in my sorority, so I don't know that it's quite the same. But yeah, it happened like that, and all in a whirlwind, I'm here in New Orleans making the show. Grace is highly independent, and she's a very conflicted young lady. I think like most young people, she's trying to make the transition into college, leaving her dad for the first time. She's, what would you say, an only child, but also has an only parent. It's just her and her dad, so when she goes to college, she's a little nervous, trying to fit in, figure out her group, which is how she stumbles upon Kappa Kappa Tau. But Grace, for as morally sound and ethically strong as she is also really curious. So Grace goes back and forth between being the conscience of the show and being the curiosity of the show, because she's trying to do the right thing, but she's also getting into the most trouble simultaneously, so she's been a bit of a mystery to play.
You're gonna take one common slate.
My name is Diego Bonetta, and I play Pete on Scream Queens. It's a dark comedy slash horror. It's about this mean sorority and Chanel, who's the president of the sorority. And she gets some bad news from the dean, being played by Jamie Lee Curtis. And basically she has to accept all these, you know, any girl who wants to join. It's interesting because when I read the script, I hadn't read anything like it. It's a world and a tone that I've you know, there's very few things that I've seen that are in that world. There's a series of murders going on, and you're trying to figure out who it is. And my character is the investigative reporter. He is the editor of the school paper, The Sentinel, and he takes his job very seriously. He's a hardworking guy. He's not a frat boy who's, you know, walking around with a lot of the parents' money. He works at the local coffee shop on campus. He's a smart guy, passionate, and he's all about the truth. That's all he cares about. Pete hates the sororities, hates all the Greek system. He hates it. He's anti that. So when he meets Grace, he's like, great, cool girl, normal. The second he finds out that Chanel wants her to join, he's like, you just don't. In many ways, I think Pete is kind of like the audience's eyes throughout the pilot. He's very balanced, he has a good head on his shoulders, but there's definitely something dark about him.
Kiki, take one common slate.
My name is Kiki Palmer, and I play Zayday on the new show, Scream Queens. If an actor had a dream come true about an opportunity, it would have been like this. Literally, I got a call from my agent when I was in Jamaica. I was on vacation. It was the first vacation I've ever had, actually, so I should go on vacation more. So I was on vacation, and he called me. He's like, you know, Ryan Murphy's doing this new show called Scream Queens. It's about these, you know, young girls in college and sorority, and, you know, there's a murder that's going on, and he wants to meet you to possibly play one of the girls. And I'm like, is this real, Mom? Is this real? Zayday is perfect in every way. I'm kidding now. Zayday is your normal teen girl, but she's very driven, you know what I mean? She came on a scholarship to this school, and she's very focused, but she also knows how to have good, clean fun. Zayday's best friend, or I should say ally in the show, is Grace, and she's played by Skylar Samuels. Zayday is easygoing and kind of up for anything. I think she's confident in who she is, so the idea of joining a sorority isn't totally crazy, so I think she's just interested because it's something her girlfriend's interested in. I'm most looking forward to shooting the actual first scene that you meet Zayday because I've never gotten to play a character that has so much personality. This character is older and she's in college, and it's something I've never done before, so I'm excited to bring a lot of personality to her that I've never been able to do in any role before.
My name is Lucian Lavish-Count, and I play Earl Grey. I just got the name yesterday. The name's new. I'm kind of trying to make it work, you know? The Earl Grey, I've been saying it differently. Earl Grey. Earl Grey. Bit more bass. Earl Grey. Earl Grey fits into this storyline in a magical, mysterious way. He's from England, and he's a fun kind of cat. He's cool, he's cool. He gets in with a rowdy bunch. He's a frat boy, but he's not the frat boy. He's not like, he's not too fratty, but he's kind of in the mix with the frat boys. So I'm gonna have my little mysterious edge to it as well. A few secrets, maybe. We'll see. I auditioned for a different part, which didn't work out. Well, first of all, we tested on the Glee set, which was the most amazing thing. So I'm sat there, I'm taking my selfies, you know what I mean? I'm in the principal's chair, I'm like, all right, it's decent. I didn't get the part, and I was devastated. I got the phone call that afternoon, and I shed a tear, a few. And then I got a phone call the next day saying that Ryan is gonna write me into it, and my whole world just blew up in front of me, and it's just an absolute blessing to be working with such amazing people. It's a dream come true, it really is. What's going to keep people coming back? The lineup of females, the guys that are in it, it's hilarious. It's scary at times, and it's naughty. It's a little bit naughty, it's a bit dark, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to keep people coming back and back and back, for sure. It's called Scream Queens, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a smash.
Scream Queens. I am Oliver Hudson, I'm playing Wes. Scream Queens is a really fun look at these horror genre through, you know, Ryan Murphy's brain takes this fantastic sort of look at sorority. And I think it's sort of like a whodunit. It reminds me a bit of sort of Clue. It has that sort of glossy, larger-than-life feeling. It's very funny, very smart. And I play a professor, you know, the hot dad, as they say. And my daughter is, I guess, 18 years old going into college. I've never played a father before. And I was always looking forward to it because I have 3 kids of my own. But now my daughter is 18. So I'm going through this process of, oh my God, am I this old now? So it's been a psychological hit. I think the fun thing about this show is we're learning as we go. Everyone seems suspicious at some point. Right now, Wes is just a man who lost his wife a long time ago, had to raise his daughter on his own. She is his best friend. They are really connected, and he's going through a serious sort of empty nest syndrome. He's just a caring, good dad. I don't know, we'll see.
I'm gonna murder you. What? I'm Glenn Powell. I am playing Chad Radwell. Well, he's the coolest guy ever. Comes from a long generation of cool guys. Most handsome, well endowed. You want to be a Radwell. Scream Queens follows a fraternity, sorority that is inundated with a series of murders, and you kind of have to figure out like a whodunit. It's kind of like an Agatha Christie novel mixed with like Heathers, mixed with like Animal House. It's the best of everything. I thought it was gonna be horror comedy. I'd say it's comedy horror because it's like way funnier. Like, I don't have like a problem with like peeing myself when I laugh, but I got pretty close reading the script. Chad is boyfriend of Chanel, but he's also hitting every hot piece of A on campus. In terms of Chanel, it shows like she's like this super powerful woman in the sorority, but also super insecure, which guys can do. He's gonna be a suspect just like everybody else in the show. I'm here to slightly learn, but I know in the real world, things are just gonna work out. So I really don't need to learn. I feel like for Chad, he's coming here to show everybody how much he likes to win and just hashtag win. Hashtag winning. Hashtag Chad Radwell. You know? Radwell. Chad Rad. Bad Chad. You can't wrangle this.
Scream Queens is a show that's all about these young people in their lives and kind of exposing some of the evil within fraternities and sororities, done with a really specific tone and what I think is pretty brilliant writing. My name is Nick Jonas, and I play Boone on Scream Queens. I think the thing that I was most drawn to about the show was the description of the character I was given, being put in a different light and getting to just have some fun. You know, I think we see him as a sort of more fearful, shy person just because, you know, I think he's got a lot of love he wants to give. It's a fun role, just playing with some of the insecurity of it all and just messing around. Boone's best friend is Chad. They're roommates and bros for life. You may think that he is a very big fan of Chad. I feel like Ryan Murphy's genius is always in sort of making you think it's one thing and changing that opinion over time. Ryan approached me, basically just called me in for a meeting and didn't specify exactly what we were talking about at first. And he was like, well, we'd love to have you be a part of the show. And at first I didn't know what he was talking about. And I was like, what show? They mentioned Scream Queens and what it was and sort of a quick description. I think he likes to keep things very protected and private, and I was really excited when he told me about the role and about the show as a whole and the idea to get to have some fun and you know, get a little bloody.
The show is about a college that has a serial killer making their way around the campus, and it involves primarily the sorority called Kappa Kappa Tau, run by the queen bee there, who's played by Emma Roberts, whose name is Chanel. I play the dean of the college, Dean Kathy Munch, who loathes the Greek system and every bad thing that it represents. And so we are at odds as I want to try to shut them down, and they are going to try to foil me at that. I wish I could tell you more, but you know, it's a Ryan Murphy show, so we've signed in blood. The dean's point is always going to be probably a mouthful. I've seen already 3 very different ways that she works people to her goal, and it's been fun. It's been really fun. And I hope that she ends up being the Greek chorus of right and wrong in the universe. Maybe I'm evil beyond measure.
Scream Queens is about a sorority where things get a little out of hand. I play Gigi Caldwell on the show. She means well. She's a lawyer, although it's very unclear if she went to like a for real law school, and she herself was in the sorority back in this decade. Am I wearing enough pink? I don't know that I'm wearing enough pink. Gigi is a bit of a nut. I was really excited to play this character because she seems very unhinged, very confident woman. She thinks she's great. It's really suspenseful and it's really dark. These girls are like crazy and awful people. People will be surprised as to how equally, you know, it's as funny as it is gory. It's really like such a hybrid of those 2 genres in a really fun way. I think people will want to find out who the killer is. That's the end game. I'm so excited to get to be a part of this cast and to work with Ryan, who I've been a fan of for so long. I remember watching Nip Tuck and being like, who made this show with these crazy dark people? There'll be a lot of blood, but also lots of jokes.
Can you take me seriously right now? Okay. I can't believe I look like this.
My name is Leah Michelle, and I play Hester on Scream Queens. Hester is very interesting. She wants to join the sorority, and there's a lot for me to sort of play with here. I think that her neck brace is definitely the star of the show. Make sure my neck is okay. And she is certainly not as put together as you can see from this
lovely, fashionable outfit. She's very different from all of the other girls, the Chanels, and she really wants to join the sorority. I talked to Ryan about this a couple of months ago. He told me, that he was doing this new horror comedy. He wanted me to be a part of it, and I think it was really just because he was afraid of the meltdown of post-Glee for me. But I really feel like this is such an amazing project. The script is so hilarious that I think it really requires for people that are able to do that kind of comedy that requires making sure that it's smart and witty and doesn't go too over the top. And so he definitely enlisted some of the best, especially young, hot talent. Who doesn't want to watch a scary show? But also where you're not going to be too scared, where you can kind of be like this is scary. And it's also really funny. So that's the thing about Brad, Ryan, and Ian. They're able to really throw something for everyone in there. I'm just really excited and honored to be here.
My name is Niecy Nash, and I am playing Officer Denise Hempfield. Someone is murdering the women of Kappa House. Security is of the utmost importance. My character is not a cop, but she is security who works in tandem with campus police. Will she be able to keep the girls safe? I don't know about that, but she's gonna give it her best effort. I'm planning on drawing inspiration for Denise Hempfield from my mother. One of the things that's so delicious about Denise, oftentimes the Black people I know are always saying, I wouldn't have did that, I would have said this, I would have said that, and Denise does everything right. She's not going in the house. She's not staying in the house. You better run away. Let me give you some sound advice. She really is the voice of reason. I worked with Ryan Murphy many, many years ago. Oh, is he brilliant? Yes. So when he got this new project, he was telling me all about it, and it was just like the teacher in the Peanuts. It was like, wah, 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 wah. When his lips stopped moving, I was like, you had me at hello. I have never seen anything quite like this on television. It's delicious, it's decadent, it's sinful. It is so different. When I was reading that script, it was like my kids didn't even exist. I was like, Mom, hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on. I could not wait, to find out what happens next. Who is the killer?